Did you know that ChatGPT, the language model you're interacting with right now, is capable of generating human-like responses to a wide range of topics, from trivia to philosophy? Hello everyone, welcome to today's session in ChatGPT Crash Course. In today's session, we're going to be talking about some insights of ChatGPT. But before that, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Edureka YouTube channel. And also to stay notified for further updates, do click the bell icon. And if you're interested in ChatGPT OpenAI training course, please check out the link given in the description down below. So without any delay, we'll go through the agenda for today. So firstly, we'll see what is ChatGPT. Then we see how to use ChatGPT. And next we learn how to install ChatGPT. Then we see what is ChatGPT 4. Then we move on to comparison between ChatGPT 4 versus ChatGPT 3.5. Also we see ChatGPT for developers. And then we see some insights on how to make money with ChatGPT. Then we talk about best ChatGPT examples. And after that, we talk about ChatGPT, which is a hype or a reality. Then we talk about ChatGPT not working, so the 4 fixes to make it work. Then we see top ChatGPT applications. Then we talk about ChatGPT API, ChatGPT for SEO. Then we see ChatGPT architecture. And next we talk about what is Google Bard. And at last, we compare ChatGPT versus the Google Bard. So guys, let's get ahead.
ChatGPT is one of the most trending topics right now. It's breaking all records with over 1 million users in just 5 days. This number is bigger than Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram. I don't think you'd ever need to Google for solutions anymore because ChatGPT can help you with it. It even includes explanations on how things work. This will make people question just how relevant Google will be in the future. Do you want to know the limitations of Python? ChatGPT has you covered. But what exactly is ChatGPT? Where is it used and why would you use it? These are some of the things that I wanted to find out. So, ChatGPT is built by the same people who are behind OpenAI, which is now shaping up some interesting technologies. They've been building stuff like GPT-3, Codex, DALL-E, etc., which most of us have been using in our day-to-day lives in editors like VS Code. This Codex API was named Copilot, where you would enter prompts to get AI-generated code. This is very similar to what ChatGPT is right now. Another example is DALL-E 2, which is an image generator based on the prompts that you enter. You can bring your imagination to life and also extend artwork. ChatGPT is therefore a way to prompt an AI to generate text-based responses in a very human-like manner. Very different to what we've seen before. And this can be risky to companies that rely on human-based answers like Stack Overflow, where discussion threads were based on community support. ChatGPT has already been banned in many schools and universities because students were doing their homework and assignments with this tool. Stack Overflow has even gone as far as banning answers from ChatGPT, saying that they want to reduce the influx of answers. Funny, right? Now, in case you didn't know, ChatGPT is entirely free. So open up a tab and just type OpenAI. You can also type the URL openai.com directly in your browser. Now, once you are here, you can click on the link up top saying Introducing ChatGPT Research Release, or if in case that link isn't available in the future, you can head down below and click on ChatGPT over here. Now, this brings you to the ChatGPT webpage, which discusses ChatGPT in detail. But if you were one to read that, you wouldn't watch my video, right? So let's just directly click on ChatGPT button over here and start using it. If this is the first time you are using it, ChatGPT will ask you to log in or sign up. ChatGPT will verify your Gmail account and also your phone number. Once that is done, you will land in a web page similar to this. So, the first thing to note over here is that ChatGPT is currently in its research phase, and that is why it is free to use. They mainly want to get feedback to help them improve. This may mean that ChatGPT might become a paid app in the future, but that's just a guess. There are also a few limitations. You can see that listed over here. ChatGPT may occasionally generate incorrect information, and you should know that ChatGPT was trained on past information. So some of the information provided might not be applicable as of today. You can see over here that it is listed down saying limited knowledge of world and events after 2021. ChatGPT may also occasionally produce harmful instruction or biased content. So if you observe something like that being produced, then you might not want to use it. Now, if you come to the left-hand side, you can see that you can open up new chat threads. I will explain chat threads later, but as of right now, let's just skip that. You can switch between dark mode and light mode over here, but I really do prefer the dark mode because it looks more aesthetic. There's also a Discord channel that you can join, and you have your updates and FAQ information. You can also log out from here. In the center of the page, you also have some examples as to what prompts you can provide, like explain quantum computing in simple terms, get creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday, and how do I make a HTTP request in JavaScript. In terms of capabilities, you should know that in each thread, ChatGPT will remember what the user said earlier in the conversation. It also allows users to provide follow-up corrections. ChatGPT has also been trained to decline inappropriate requests. Now, with all of this said and done, it's finally time for us to get started with using ChatGPT. And using ChatGPT is very simple. All you have to do is provide prompts over here. You can type in questions and then click on the button over here, and it will generate a response based on your question. So I will use a prompt of my own. Let's just say, what is 10 plus 10? And now ChatGPT will analyze our question and then try to find an answer for it. Now this is pretty damn simple, but there are a few things that you have to take note of over here. First thing is that you can regenerate your response so that it matches the correct format. You can do that by clicking the button over here. You can generate as many responses as you want, and there will be some changes until finally it just loops over your answers. Obviously, there are only so many ways you can answer a question, right? And if you hover over the left-hand side, you can scroll through the previously generated results. For us right now, ChatGPT is providing the same results. This might just be due to the high demand, and hopefully it changes in the future. But if you do like some of the answers that are provided over here, you can click on the thumbs up or the thumbs down button and then provide some feedback. You can also continue this conversation by providing more prompts. All you have to do is type in another prompt. Let's just say, how good is OpenAI's ChatGPT at math? And you can see by the response over here that ChatGPT is telling you that it is not specifically designed and trained for advanced mathematical tasks, so its performance in those areas might be limited. This is because ChatGPT does not understand math itself, but it is replicating the answers. It is like a 3-year-old kid trying to tell you an answer without actually understanding the problem. Also, you should know that this answer is still a part of this conversation. The answers being generated is based on the context of this conversation. Now, you can also try to trick the AI, such as in this example, where I am trying to tell ChatGPT that 10 plus 10 is actually 21. And you can see over here that ChatGPT says, I apologize, you are correct, 10 plus 10 is equal to 21. This is where confirmation bias may occur, and you have to be careful about the prompts that you put in because they will affect the answers that you get. You can think of all your previous questions and answers that were generated being kept in history. So all of these answers belong to the same conversation. Now, to create a new conversation where you don't have any confirmation bias, you can click on the new chat button over here. This will create a new chat thread which is not affected by your previous conversations. This time, if you give it the same prompt as earlier, it will give you the right answer because it is not affected by the previous conversation. Now, with that said and done, you have covered most of the basics that you need to know to get started with ChatGPT. You can get started with ChatGPT right away, but I want to show you some more capabilities over here. For the first advanced conversation, let's begin by asking ChatGPT that I want to cook something with seafood today. Can you give me 10 dishes as options? This is where you ask ChatGPT to generate a specific number of options using a specific number of things. In this case, it is 10 items of seafood. So over here, you can see that I have gotten a list of 10 items that I can cook with seafood. And this is where things can get interesting. We can now look at this list and select the options that we like. Now, I would like to have some fish tacos, and that is why I will start asking ChatGPT to generate a shopping list for me based on that option. I don't particularly have to say the names of the recipes, but it should know what I mean by default. Now, this output is also essentially a list, but over here, we don't particularly have a limit. As you can see over here, it is just going ahead and creating a shopping list for us based on our prompt. It is already sectioned and indented, allowing us to get more clarity on the subject. Now, that is pretty damn cool. And this is also just the beginning, as we can continue this conversation based on all this context. We've got a list of 10 items and also the shopping list. Now, the next question I'll give is quite intuitive. I'm going to ask it for the exact cooking steps for fish tacos. And this gives us a detailed list of how to cook that particular food. This is just an example of using OpenAI's ChatGPT for making a shopping list. Now, I'm going to take a look at how I can use ChatGPT to help me with some coding. Let me use the default option over here. How do I make a HTTP request in JavaScript? This is a pretty ordinary prompt, but we'll be able to start seeing some of the coding aspects of ChatGPT over here. Now, this answer can be generated in a number of ways. First, it will give me a context of the problem, after which it will write the code. Then, it will give me explanations of how that code works. All this is quite useful, and this is just the beginning. Now I'm going to update this prompt to collect stocks data of the Nifty Bank Index for the previous day. I expect that ChatGPT will update the response in some manner. Let's see what we get. The result is that OpenAI will generate a response for you, but it will create a generic version of it using APIs that don't really exist. One good thing over here is that you can copy the code directly and then paste it in your editor. You should also know that you have to be very particular about the prompts that you give, because it's very hard for you to convey the proper details to ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT should have a very clear idea of what you're trying to achieve with this prompt. This is why if you have a background in coding, things might be a lot simpler because you know exactly what you are looking for. Whereas if you don't have a background in coding, things might be a lot more difficult because you won't be able to convey the right idea. And this is kind of true for all kinds of industries. Another popular use of ChatGPT is to create content for websites or even documents. While you wouldn't want to use the entire document as is because you'll need to modify it, you can get a helping hand with it. In this example, I am trying to create a copyright and release forms for a video. Now this response here is giving me a template, and I can be a bit more specific, saying that it is for an educational video. This will help me customize the output to make it a better outline for my use case. Of course, you can also make it a bit more specific. Since I live in India, I can ask ChatGPT to include local laws and legislatures to update this response. The output from ChatGPT is essentially the same, but with updated information. You can see that it has included the Indian Copyright Act 1957 over here, and also the Indian Penal Code 1860. This is one of the ways that you can use ChatGPT to write your documents and content for your website. ChatGPT is entirely free. And this got me wondering, how good could it actually be? So what I did was head over to Stack Overflow and copy-pasted some random question into ChatGPT. I wanted to figure out if ChatGPT could actually solve this problem for me. And not only did ChatGPT solve that error, but it also provided explanations of where I went wrong. It also came with a snippet which I could directly copy into my editor. And that was pretty damn cool. Now, this feature of ChatGPT got a lot of people worried. They wanted to know if this will replace programmers. And let me tell you, ChatGPT is incredibly efficient in writing code, but developers are still needed. You see, the thing is, while ChatGPT can write code, the user entering prompts needs to know exactly what is needed and how the code can be executed. So if you are a programmer, you would find it easier to use ChatGPT to build applications, but if you don't know coding, then this will be very tough. Now, while coding has definitely become easier with ChatGPT, the applications of ChatGPT does not end there. If you want a full demo of the use cases, you can watch this video over here, and as a preview to what you can find over there, let me show you how you can make a shopping list using ChatGPT. So for this use case, I asked ChatGPT that I wanted to cook something with seafood today. Can you give me 10 dishes as options? This is where we ask ChatGPT to generate a specific number of options using a specific number of things. This should be quite difficult, but ChatGPT eased through this. We easily got a list of 10 items along with some more explanations included with it. And this is where things got a bit more interesting. Because one of the features of ChatGPT is that it can remember your previous answers, and based on that context, it can provide you additional answers. So I asked ChatGPT if it could generate a shopping list for me based on these so-and-so options. I don't even need to say the names of these recipes, but it should know what I mean by default. Now this output is also essentially a list, but over here we don't particularly have a limit. As you can see, ChatGPT is just going ahead and creating a shopping list for us based on so-and-so options. It is already sectioned and indented, allowing us more clarity on the subject. And this is also just the beginning, as we can continue this conversation based on all of this context. We got a list of 10 items and also a shopping list. Now the next question that I'll give is quite intuitive. I'm going to ask it, what are the exact cooking steps for so-and-so options? And this prompt gave us a detailed list of how we can cook that particular food. This is just an example of using OpenAI's ChatGPT to make a shopping list. How to install ChatGPT? ChatGPT has been creating waves across every single kind of industry, and people want to know how to get quick and easy access to it. But let me tell you that there is no official application for ChatGPT right now that is available online. But there are a few workarounds for this. To do this, all you need to do is open up Chrome and then visit ChatGPT. You can do that by typing chat.openai.com. And if you haven't logged in yet, I highly recommend that you do so. Once you have logged in, all you need to do is click on the three dots on the top right corner and then navigate to Add to Home Screen button. Once you click on that button, Chrome will ask you to set a name for that shortcut. I have clicked on ChatGPT over here, and once you click on Enter, you will get the icon for your shortcut. You can drag and drop this icon anywhere into your home screen, and with the shortcut, you can access ChatGPT anywhere and anytime you like.
ChatGPT 4 has finally arrived, and everybody is going crazy after the announcement of the latest version of the GPT family. Today we will be exploring the fascinating world of ChatGPT 4, OpenAI's most powerful language model. So, what exactly is ChatGPT 4? The acronym GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and this fourth iteration is the latest and the most advanced language model. Building on the success of its previous model, ChatGPT 4 pushes the boundaries of AI. Now you must be thinking, what is the mechanism behind this ChatGPT 4? ChatGPT 4 is based on the transformer architecture, which utilizes attention mechanisms to process and generate human-like text. It's no surprise to say that we were trying to adapt the exceptional features of ChatGPT, as new applications were being discovered every day. And now we get to know a more better and improved version has been unleashed, and that better version is ChatGPT 4. AGI can be achieved using this GPT model. These are not my words, for your information. It's stated by the Microsoft researchers. They told that we can witness the spark of AI from now only, which was to be discovered in the other 20 years. That's pretty awesome. Recently, OpenAI expanded its capabilities of the latest GPT-4 model by increasing its word limit from 3,000 to 25,000 words. Along with that, the working model also got changed to multimodal. In other words, not only it understands text, but also the images. And the amazing part is that GPT-4 can depict scenarios. As for example, if we will take the picture of this egg, it will start telling what all dishes I can make from this egg. Okay, it helps in cooking too. It can also take visual inputs and tell what's the highlight of the image, and can understand the humor as well. Just by going through the picture, one more thing that will blow your mind is that it can help you creating a website from the scratch, even if your idea is implicated on the paper. That's amazing. ChatGPT 4 has been trained on a lot of various prompts, with many of them being malicious. Because of this, the newest model is better at giving out factual information and has much better advanced reasoning capabilities than its predecessor. As you can see, this was shown in an example from OpenAI, whereas the older version of ChatGPT and ChatGPT 4 were both asked the same question. While both AIs could offer a solution, the solution given by ChatGPT 4 was more accurate. You know what? OpenAI's GPT-4 aced all of its exams, like LSAT, GRE, as well as Uniform Bar Exam. OpenAI tested GPT-4 with a variety of standardized tests, from high school to graduate to professional level. And you know what? It passed with flying colors. As you can see, GPT-4 has set some benchmarks with compared to GPT 3.5. It has been doing great, and we can say that this version of GPT has a lot to offer. With the immense amount of advancements and updates, ChatGPT 4 is not available for free. As to enjoy the benefits, you have to pay the price. With the increase in demand all around the world, OpenAI has restricted its top language model from common people. For that purpose, I will be telling you how to use ChatGPT 4. As the previous GPT model, you have to visit the OpenAI website. There you will find a lot of research papers and the wonders that ChatGPT 4 has been doing. From there you will find ChatGPT Plus, which is direct way to start using GPT-4. OpenAI has instituted GPT 3.5 and 4 to tag along, but for that you need to upgrade your ChatGPT subscription. As you ought to use GPT-4, you should be a Plus member. As you can see by comparing the subscription, you are getting a lot of extra benefits like that you can use ChatGPT even when the demand rate is high, cause many of the free users were facing problems before. The response rate is faster, and most importantly, you can get the access to updated features like now how we are going to get ChatGPT 4. Just pay the amount for Plus membership, as you need to pay $20 months, and I think that's worth it, as GPT-4 will compensate it with the output. Now, if you have upgraded the plan, a new chat box will open, from where you can use the GPT model you want to work on. And we just have to select GPT-4 from here, and now we are ready to use. The future of AI is very unpredictable, especially now. As we were already adapting to GPT 3.5, now the more faster and the stronger version of ChatGPT is at our doorstep. I really feel that after the changes made in GPT-4, from image inputs to the increase in the limits of text, this will pave the pathway to numerous opportunities. Starting from the research sector to human operations, everything will be done in matter of seconds.
What is the comparison between the ChatGPT 4, which is the latest version, versus ChatGPT 3.5? So let's get ahead. Talking about the latest AI, GPT-4 is 10 times more sophisticated than ChatGPT 3.5, which is its predecessor. This enhancement in ChatGPT-4 enables the model to recognize subtleties and learn the context more thoroughly, which results in replies that are more accurate and consistent. So, what makes ChatGPT-4 different? So, guys, in terms of language expertise, while ChatGPT 3.5 can create language that appears to be written by a person, GPT-4 is even more adept at comprehending and producing different local languages and also resolving the emotions of the text. For instance, GPT-4 can detect sorrowness or annoyance shown by the user and respond with empathy, making the conversation feel more intimate and real. One of the GPT's most amazing abilities is the capacity to work with local languages which are based on culture and geography. Next, when we talk about data organizing, ChatGPT 4 can combine data from several sources to make sense of complicated topics, whereas ChatGPT 3.5 could have trouble making connections. Unlike 3.5, GPT-4 now has a function that enables it to correctly write sources while writing text. For example, when asked about the relationship between the fall in bee population and the impact of world agriculture, GPT-4, for instance, can respond with more detail by referring several researchers and sources. Next, in terms of consistency, where GPT 3.5 can produce creative contents, ChatGPT 4 goes one step further by producing story, poetries, or essays with enhanced consistency and inventiveness. For instance, where ChatGPT 3.5 may struggle to maintain narrative and consistency, GPT-4 is able to write short story with a strong storyline and character development. Next, when we talk in terms of complicated problem solving, GPT-4 shows a strong ability to solve difficult scientific and mathematical problems, going beyond the capabilities of GPT 3.5. For instance, GPT-4 outperforms GPT-3 in the simulation of chemical reaction and the resolution of challenging calculus problems. It can perform a wide range of mathematical operations, including calculus, algebra, geometry, and also subjects like physics, chemistry, biology, and astronomy. These are the scientific disciplines for which ChatGPT-4 has been trained. Thanks to the sophisticated processing capacity and language modeling abilities, it can quickly analyze complex scientific writings and offer insights and explanation. Lastly, when we talk about the aspect of understanding images and graphics, GPT-4 can analyze and remark graphics and images, as opposed to GPT 3.5, which mostly concentrates on text. Because it can, for example, define substance of a picture and spot trends in a graph, and also even create captions for the picture. For this, GPT-4 is an effective tool for education and content development. Additionally, GPT-4 has a maximum token limit of 32,000 words, which is much more than GPT 3.5's 4,000 tokens, or you can tell 3,125 words. So guys, these are quite the benefits of GPT-4 over GPT 3.5. So finally guys, let's talk about how to install ChatGPT-4. So to get ChatGPT-4, you will need to have the paid version of the site, okay? So for that, you have to install ChatGPT Plus. Here's how you get the subscription. Firstly, what you can do is type ChatGPT-4 on Google, or you can go to chatgpt.openai.com to access the ChatGPT website. So once you go to the website, you will have an option for ChatGPT Plus, which will lead you immediately to ChatGPT-4, and you can have access to it. Also, to upgrade, if you don't already have the premium version, you can choose Upgrade to Plus from the sidebar, which will allow you to upgrade your plan as per the requirement. So guys, this is all about ChatGPT 4, and also I've given some comparison between the ChatGPT 4 versus ChatGPT 3.5.
ChatGPT is revolutionizing the way people think about productivity, and a developer's life has never been easier. We will see how you can automate your code solutions using ChatGPT. Whether you are a student or a developer, this video is all you need to make your life much easier. ChatGPT was developed by the same people who are behind OpenAI, who have recently been working on some really interesting things. They have built stuff like GPT-3, Codex, DALL-E, etc. but I think most developers would know it more for OpenAI Playground, which has helped many people write really good code. ChatGPT is just a simpler and more versatile extension of this. It can hold conversations, write blogs, write code, fix errors, provide management plans, etc. All of this is being done for free. So you can think of ChatGPT as an AI model that is capable of generating text based on prompts. It uses deep learning to understand what you're saying and comes up with a response that sounds very much like a real person. But how does it work? This field of study is called Natural Language Processing, or NLP. Basically, what you do over here is you train an AI model by giving it languages as parameters. You give the AI model a large amount of language data, and once that AI model learns the patterns in the language, along with the grammar and meanings, it can generate responses in that language. A lot of people get confused by this. They say, if ChatGPT is just an NLP model, why exactly did OpenAI develop it? They already had Codex, and the difference between them is quite simple. ChatGPT is just a lot more versatile and can be used in more ways than Codex. The GPT-3 model that ChatGPT uses understands natural language, while Codex can only understand code. While ChatGPT is great for developers, it does have some limitations. It may occasionally generate incorrect information, and along with that incorrect information, some of its responses can also be harmful or racist. You should also know that it was trained on data that was available before 2021, so it has limited knowledge of current events. So to summarize everything we talked about, ChatGPT is an excellent tool that can make your life much easier. But it is still no replacement for human interaction and verified sources of information. This is all the theory behind it. Now let's move on to how we can use ChatGPT. All you need to do is open chat.openai.com. This is the URL of ChatGPT, and the moment you open this, it will ask you to create an account. Once you do that, you will land in a web page similar to this. Now, I thought a lot of ways about how to show you the different ways you can use ChatGPT. So I sectioned the type of questions I'll be using in the prompts. I highly recommend that you watch the entire video if you are a new techie, but if you want to, you can skip to the part that you find most interesting. I'll start with the general questions, after which we can see some Python examples. We will also see HTML and CSS examples, JavaScript examples, Node.js examples, and we will finish up with SQL examples. So the first thing that you should know in general questions is that ChatGPT can help you with writing shell scripts. The way to do that is quite simple. Once you go to ChatGPT, you can see a text box over here. This is where you write your prompts, and once you click enter, ChatGPT will start generating a response. So let's start by asking ChatGPT if it can write a bash script that can monitor the number of TCP connections along with time-related information. And the moment I click enter, you can see that ChatGPT zooms through an answer. ChatGPT provides an answer with explanations and code. It's also filtering the answer with only the established TCP connections. It also provides a sleep timer that lets this code pause for 5 seconds before checking again. Now, this snippet of code can be copied and pasted directly into your editor, and also ChatGPT gives you explanations of how this code works. By the way, did you know that ChatGPT's explanations are way better than what most university professors provide? While I am providing more coding examples over here, know that ChatGPT can help you with other stuff too. Like for example, I can also ask ChatGPT to suggest the best books for Python, and it immediately starts giving you an answer. But this is where you might find one of the limitations in Python. Like I told you before, ChatGPT was trained on data before 2021. So some of these might not be relevant right now. You might find better books if you just search for them. For the third example, let me ask ChatGPT, how do I know if I have committed my code into a Git repository? This is something that most developers do all the time, and ChatGPT is already giving you an answer on how to do it. You can see that it has provided an example of using Git log and also comes with the output like commit, author, date, etc. You can also use ChatGPT for content creation. For example, let me ask ChatGPT to give me a list of blog ideas for Python. ChatGPT gets right to it. It gives me multiple blog ideas to choose from, and from here I can start creating my content. It can also help with contract writing. For example, let me ask, can you create a contract for a video release which is specific to Indian laws? And ChatGPT starts by saying that it does not have the ability to draft a contract specifically tailored to certain laws, but it does provide an overview of what that contract should contain. This answer might not be everything that you hoped for, but at least now you have an idea about where to start from. You can also use ChatGPT to prepare for an interview. Like over here, I have put help me with my Python interview, and it gives me a list of the most popular questions asked during a Python interview. You can start by learning answers for these questions and then move on to additional stuff which ChatGPT itself has mentioned, like data structures, control structures, functions, classes, modules, etc. It also tells you that you should be familiar with common libraries and modules used in Python, such as NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, scikit-learn, etc. ChatGPT also gives you pointers on how to approach the interview, to mention your past projects, and to be prepared for problem-solving questions. If you are a student using ChatGPT to revise your knowledge, you can also use ChatGPT to help you with different kinds of programs. For example, I can ask, how do I write a program for Fibonacci series? ChatGPT will give you a code and also the explanation of how this code would work. This tool will be extremely helpful if you are just reviewing your knowledge. Moving on to Python examples, you should know that ChatGPT is extremely good at writing Python code. For example, I can give it a prompt like, how to scrape the first 50 results from Amazon for the search term smartphone. Now, this is something that a lot of data analysts do on a regular basis while collecting data. And you can see over here that ChatGPT is already importing requests, beautiful soup, etc. and integrating various libraries into your code. It's storing all of the results in a list called product list, and it is looping through the product list to store all the relevant data. You can also see that it has mentioned class names over here. Now, this might not contain all the details that you were looking for. And if that is the case, then you can prompt ChatGPT to update your answers with the details that you require. We can also use ChatGPT for regular coding tasks. Like, let me ask ChatGPT to write a Python program that can generate an OTP. These are the type of codes that developers run into once in a while, and with ChatGPT over here, you don't need to Google for these solutions anymore. You can also ask ChatGPT to provide codes that help you with image processing. For example, let me type, write a Python program to blur an image. And you can see over here that Python immediately imports the CV2 library and then uses imread to read the image, uses Gaussian blur to blur the image, it shows the image, uses a wait key, and also then destroys all windows. The code has also given you input options where you can enter the path for your image. These are some of the applications that you can see for Python using ChatGPT. Now moving on to HTML and CSS, let's first ask ChatGPT to make a website template using HTML and CSS with a beige theme. You can see that ChatGPT directly heads over to the code and it starts with the HTML code, adds a CSS section which follows the 𝐂𝐻 theme website, and is being quite quirky over here by adding a h1 tag saying welcome to 𝐂𝐻 theme website. This is the power of ChatGPT for web development. It not only provides you the HTML and CSS code, but it directly understands that you need to have different sections like about, our services, etc., and also adds copyright footers. It provides you with an explanation of what goes on in the code, which you can directly use in your documentation. Let's now ask it to write HTML and CSS code to display a profile picture at the top left of this website. This is something that developers usually do and is quite simple, but still, it is a great way of showing ChatGPT's capabilities. You can also see that the code has included dummy paths for your images. This is something that you can change after you copy this code into your editor. Moving on to JavaScript examples, we can first ask ChatGPT to write JavaScript code to send HTTP requests. ChatGPT begins by saying that we can use XML HTTP request to do this. And then it gives us a sample code snippet on how we can use this. After that, it has also included an additional snippet that tells you how to send a POST request. And like usual, you also get some documentation right at the end, which explains how the code works. We can also ask ChatGPT to solve a very common use case that is done in JavaScript, and that is to verify user information. Write a JavaScript code to verify user information like name, age, date of birth, email ID, and password. ChatGPT begins by creating a function called verifyUserInfo, after which it fetches all the variables. It then starts verifying and validating information. You can see that it has verified name for the null condition, verified age for empty or age less than 0 condition. It has also verified the email syntax and has checked if password is greater than 8 characters. When all of these verification checks have been passed, it provides an alert saying user information is valid. Now let's move on to Node.js examples. We'll first start by asking it to write the backend code for an online delivery company using Node.js and Express.js. Now, this is quite a huge task, but look at ChatGPT. It's already providing you with the entire template. It creates dummy delivery records and using those records for functions. It's verifying records using GET requests, POST requests, PUT requests, and much more. Who's gonna say that coding is tough after this? All you need to do is understand the code and modify it appropriately. Workloads are smaller than ever before, all cause of one free-to-use tool. You don't even need to put a lot of effort into documentations because of this. One thing that I forgot to mention before is that you can start building new prompts based on your previous prompts. So, to show how this works, let me just type in a new prompt. So, let me say, great, integrate this code with CouchDB database. Now, if you look at the prompt and the output, I haven't mentioned anywhere that this code is for the delivery company. ChatGPT directly understands this and provides an answer based on the context. This is the conversation-making abilities that ChatGPT has. If you don't want to continue the conversation and you want to start a new conversation, there are pros and cons to this. While continuing a conversation sounds really interesting, your previous prompts can affect the output that you get in the future. So, if you don't want your previous answers affecting your current answers, all you need to do is create a new conversation. You can do that by heading over here and clicking on New Chat. This will create a new conversation for you where the model doesn't have any assumptions. Now let's start with examples for SQL. Let me start by asking ChatGPT to create a database schema for an edtech company. This is usually a time-consuming task with a lot of different variables. And you can see that ChatGPT has gone through and created a simple basic database schema for us. Now we can use the schema as is, or if we want to make some edits, we can do that ourselves. Since this is a conversation in itself, we can also ask ChatGPT to directly implement the schema using SQL queries. Using ChatGPT, we can automate most of the tasks that goes on during this process, right from the creation of the schema to execution of it. Now let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT to write SQL queries that can add records to these tables. You can see that ChatGPT has provided queries that can add records to the table. This is quite interesting, but not quite what I was looking for. Let's see if ChatGPT can find a more efficient way to do this. And yes, ChatGPT can also improve its answers. It can also improve queries. It's showing you multiple suggestions on how you can improve the efficiency of your inserts, and this is being done for MySQL, Postgre, etc. ChatGPT is currently changing the world unlike any other technology. And with that change, we have a lot of opportunities. ChatGPT, developed by OpenAI, is a state-of-the-art language model that can understand and generate human-like text like a pro. But it's not just a fun tool to play with. It's also a valuable tool for making money. From chatbot development services to language translation services, there are so many ways you can use ChatGPT to earn some money. So sit back, relax, and let's explore these exciting business opportunities. The first method is by helping develop chatbots. Have you ever interacted with customer service over text? Most of these text-based customer services don't really have a person behind them. They use chatbots to give you predefined outputs. Best thing is, you don't even need to learn how to make chatbots. Just go to ChatGPT and ask it for the steps and code. If you integrate your chatbot with ChatGPT API, you can make excellent chatbots every single day. The second method is translation services. This used to be an extremely tough task, but with OpenAI's ChatGPT, it is just a matter of copying and pasting text. You can sell these kind of services on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, where you can find a lot of freelancers. The only thing is that you will need to compete with other freelancers during this process. You need to provide your services for cheaper and tighter deadlines. But this does not really matter because you can have ChatGPT auto-translate everything. It will barely take an hour or two to translate an entire book. Third method is writing books. I know you are thinking of really big books with thousands of pages and thinking, hell no. But that is not what I'm suggesting. There are also short poems, kid stories, gift cards, celebration cards, etc. These are barely 5 pages and you can post them on sites like Kindle. But I do have to remind you that this is a hit or miss method. But even if one book goes viral, you will be richer than ever before. The fourth method is email marketing. I'm sure that most of y'all have seen multitudes of emails from different companies giving ads. This is also a full-time job where people just send attractive emails. Using ChatGPT, you can create multiple attractive email templates in a matter of seconds. All you need to do after that is send the email template to organizations or use their tools to send the email yourself. Earning more can't be easier than this. Fifth method is faceless YouTube channel. Over here, all you do is ask ChatGPT to create a script and then make a video out of it. This video doesn't even need to have your face or your voice. Once ChatGPT gives you your script, you can make an attractive PPT like the one I'm showing you right now and use text-to-speech services like Amazon Polly or Veed.io. If you put everything together, you have your videos. This method does need you to learn how YouTube works and make your content SEO friendly. But this is a really fun and creative process. So now, the sixth method I have for you is online tutoring. With ChatGPT, teaching and solving problems have never been easier. You can use this option at your convenience. You can do video-based sessions, audio-based sessions, and much more. ChatGPT can help you with the entire process, right from things like creating a study plan and study materials to a script for the entire discussion. ChatGPT can help you with everything. You can even generate quizzes using ChatGPT. The seventh method that I'll show you is writing code. As most of you all must have already heard, writing code has been a simpler experience after the introduction of ChatGPT. You don't really need to code yourself. Just ask ChatGPT to do it for you. You can make things like Chrome extensions, embedded machines, and even Android games. Your imagination is your only limit. The eighth method that we have for you is AI-powered HR services. Have you ever been on a job hunt? Most of these companies receive thousands of resumes for a single job vacancy, and the competition for this is extremely high. You can use ChatGPT to offer virtual HR services such as recruitment, employee onboarding, and much more for businesses. The ninth method is AI-powered research services. You can use ChatGPT to provide research services for businesses and individuals, such as conducting online research, summarizing reports, and much more. This job requires you to be credible and understand the subject that you are researching, but it's still a great option. The only problem over here, though, is that ChatGPT was trained on data that existed before 2021, so some facts might not be correct. Make sure that you always verify your facts that are provided by ChatGPT. The 10th method that I'm going to tell you is creating illustrations for clients using ChatGPT. An illustrator works closely with the content and marketing teams to provide attractive images and written content. And to do this, you just need two tools, and both of them are provided by OpenAI, ChatGPT and DALL-E. ChatGPT can give you really attractive written content, and DALL-E, on the other hand, can generate images for you. If you are able to use these platforms properly, then there is nothing stopping you from making big bucks. OpenAI ChatGPT is making great changes in every sector of the industry. It has revolutionized the way we see artificial intelligence and NLP. But the problem is that most people just don't know how to use it. Since you are here, I already assume that you know what ChatGPT is. If you don't know what it is yet, then I highly recommend going through our channel for those videos. We at Edureka are highly impressed by OpenAI's effort at ChatGPT, and we fully support their new API. The first example that we are going to see over here is recipe suggestions. You can type something like, I have carrots, zucchini, and broccoli. What can I prepare with them for a vegan dinner? And ChatGPT will instantly give you suggestions based on those items which are vegan. This is great when you are coming home from a long day of work and you just want to get creative in the kitchen. But before we go ahead to the second use case, let me just show you some of the limitations of ChatGPT. The first limitation is that ChatGPT may occasionally generate incorrect information. We have seen this previously in all kinds of chatbots, and ChatGPT is no different. But OpenAI has done a great job at decreasing this. The second limitation is that ChatGPT may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. So if you observe something like this being answered, it's best not to use them. The third and the biggest limitation is that ChatGPT has limited knowledge of world and events after 2021. You see, ChatGPT was developed on data which was available before 2021. So if you ask it something like, what is the time right now? It will start struggling. The second use case that we have is social skills. ChatGPT is especially great if you are an introvert and you struggle to make conversations with new people. I have typed, can you list some conversation starters? And ChatGPT instantly gets to it. It gives me some pointers on how I can start a conversation with someone new. The third use case that we have is coding. I know that most people already know that ChatGPT is used for coding a lot, but I had to include it even if it was overrated, because ChatGPT is just so damn good at it. Over here, I have mentioned a prompt saying write a Node.js backend code for a marketing company. And you can see that ChatGPT goes ahead and writes the entire backend code. Now, this code might not be everything that you were looking for, but it at least provides you a template to begin with. The fourth use case is tutoring. ChatGPT makes an excellent tutor. And this is proven by the general public because they believe that ChatGPT is better than most university professors. To use ChatGPT like a tutor and get some really simple explanations, you can use the keyword explain like I'm 5. And over here, I have asked ChatGPT to explain me the concept of time dilation. This is one of the toughest things to explain in physics, and ChatGPT does a really good job at it. So the next time you are stuck on some really tough problem, know that ChatGPT is here for you. The fifth use case that we have is language translation. Yes, the ridiculously tough task of language translation has just become easier. Over here, I have typed how to say have a great day in French, and you can see that ChatGPT has given me a translation for it. You can also use ChatGPT for product recommendations. Since ChatGPT has come across a large amount of language data, ChatGPT has managed to identify some trends. So the next time you go shopping, you can ask ChatGPT for some suggestions. Like here, I have typed, I'm looking to buy some trendy sneakers. Do you have any suggestions? ChatGPT eases through this. It instantly generates a list of really cool sneakers that I can buy. The next use case is an interesting one. ChatGPT can also be your career coach. ChatGPT can help you find the best job based on your skill set and your interests. To do this, you can try the following prompt. Could you help me find the right job? I'm good at creative and analytical tasks. Now, ChatGPT takes this data and then suggests you some jobs that are really good for your skill set. You can see that it has suggested data analyst, marketing specialist, UX designer, etc., which heavily deals with analytics and creativity. Conversations with ChatGPT can also be extremely casual. You can get ChatGPT to tell you some jokes. For that, you can type tell me a joke, and then you can see ChatGPT's reply over here. Sure, here's one for you. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. I know this isn't one of the best jokes you might have heard, but it's enough to give you a chuckle. A lot of people have also used ChatGPT for mental health support. ChatGPT is extremely helpful when you are feeling sad and depressed and you want some pointers on how you can change your mood. To do this, you can just type out your feelings. For example, I'll type, I'm feeling sad and stressed. ChatGPT immediately recognizes what kind of query this is, and it will give you some suggestions on how you can improve your mood. It tells you to exercise, connect with others, practice mindfulness, among many other things. Okay guys, this is the last use case in this video. ChatGPT can help you with all sorts of entertainment. You can get ChatGPT to give you suggestions, pointers, or even just play a game with you. For example, I have typed, I like mystery books. Could you suggest a novel? And ChatGPT immediately gets to it. It gives me a list of amazing novels that I can read on my free time. And this isn't just limited to novels. You can also get suggestions on movies if you want. Like for example, I'll type, I loved Shawshank Redemption. Could you suggest another movie like that? And ChatGPT immediately recognized the movie and is providing me with some recommendations based on that genre, plot, etc. Isn't that cool?
We are all here to know about the most hyped, the most talk of the town, right? ChatGPT. Everybody around us are talking about ChatGPT. Some of you even have the question, what is ChatGPT? Some of you might have already started using it, but want to understand that where will this take us to? So many of your questions will get answered in this session. So let's get started. So a brief introduction to ChatGPT. What is ChatGPT? Right? As you all know, or you would have heard, that it's actually a natural language processing tool which is based on the concept of generative AI. So it talks to you like a human. We have worked with Siri and Alexa earlier. So you say, hey Siri, tell me what's the weather outside, and Siri would go ahead and give you the answer. But what if I had more questions and I wanted, at the end, I know that when I'm talking to these chatbots, these are AI, these are like artificial. I want to have a conversation where it not only gives me the information, it doesn't not only answers my questions, but it also has a human touch. So I can even go ahead and have a nice conversation with ChatGPT. I can ask it to write essays for me. I can ask it to do coding for me. So we will see what are the different applications. So it's a very beautiful, easy to use AI tool which helps you to solve many of your problems that you face today. So let's understand what are the latest use cases, because ChatGPT came available to people only in November 2022. And in a matter of, by Jan, we already had 100 million users using ChatGPT, right? And because it's a newborn baby, I should say just a 3 months old, 4 months old baby, it still managed to capture the market. And we have some of the good use cases which tells that how people are coming, how organizations are coming forward to partner with OpenAI and take the leverage of the AI tool as ChatGPT. So the first example I would want to say that when it comes to customer relationship management, Salesforce and Air India, both of them have come forward to integrate OpenAI into their personal system. So if I talk about Salesforce, they have launched their own GPT by name Einstein GPT, which works internally on their customer relationship CRM platform. So they don't have to go to the ChatGPT platform. They have integrated it part of their system. Air India is also integrating it as part of their customer experience system, where customers have queries relating to their flight and all, it will get answered through this AI tool. We have also seen that the beverage giant Coca-Cola is the first product company who has partnered with OpenAI to integrate chatbot into their management system. Because can it tell me which area should I be supplying more, which area needs attention, what it is helping in the business intelligence process of the organization. eShop is an e-commerce platform, and there also they have partnered with OpenAI. So when I'm giving you these examples, it's these organizations are not going to the ChatGPT platform which you and I are seeing today. They have integrated, they have pulled OpenAI into their internal systems, and we can see that all these companies are coming forward and partnering at a quick pace. 𝐂𝐡 is a microblogging platform, and what people are doing today, they go to ChatGPT, create their content and come and paste on the blogging platform. But they said, okay, let's give this feature to our users, and all the verified users of this platform can create content using ChatGPT, and then that gets posted. So they are not seeing this as a threat, but in fact, they are seeing it as a very good collaboration tool, which OpenAI is doing with this. Snapchat, most of the youngsters would be knowing about Snapchat. So they also have got a small piece which is called, so they have integrated OpenAI, and that part is called as My AI. So each company is giving their own name to this integrated tool, which will be visible on their own platform. People who want to go abroad or who are interested in learning multiple language, Duolingo is a very favorite app. I think many of the youngsters would be having on their mobile. They have also integrated with ChatGPT 4, which explains that what could be a more better way of learning the language. That app itself is very interactive, but adding ChatGPT to it, it makes it much more easier for them to learn the language. It's like a human who is talking rather than just learning word to word. So let's play a role play. You take my interview in German, and then ChatGPT will start doing the questioning. So you are realizing that it is getting into the industry. cross different industries. People want to collaborate with this. Healthcare sector also, maybe some of you might be knowing about this, but Be My Eyes is an app. This is specially for blind and low vision people. So they are also collaborating with OpenAI because this will help the people with special ability to use the tools more effectively. So that was in short about how companies are coming forward. The last, which most of us know, that Microsoft has done a very good investment into ChatGPT, and that's why it's accelerating at this pace. While ChatGPT came into existence, I should say technically available to millions of people from Jan, they have managed to get by March the GPT-4. So it's an enhanced version. So when ChatGPT was launched, it was version 3, and now we are at 4. So what's the enhancement features of ChatGPT-4? So GPT-4, it is more prompt. It gives you more language ability. So it has now 26 languages in which you can talk. So it's ChatGPT is not restricted to only English speaking audience. If you can speak, if you want your things in any of the other language, it will start conversing with you in that language. People who are from the development and coding world, they have found that complex mathematical models, which were little difficult at the earlier version of ChatGPT, has increased. The capability of the coding has increased a lot. To be honest, like when I used it in Feb, the coding ability of ChatGPT was good, but with the coming of 4, it has become even more better because it comes with its more complex algorithms are being able to be met. So as you might note, if you want to use ChatGPT 4, you will have to go with the paid version of it. The number of words which were limited in the earlier version was 3,000 words, and now it is 25,000 words. So you can think about the amount of content that can get created, the amount of detail you can get when you are asking for a question, and the clarity of information can also be profound when the ChatGPT is responding back to you for your queries. So we understood which all organizations, some of the organizations. So I have not created a full list, but what are the different organizations who have partnered with OpenAI in integrating ChatGPT as part of their internal system, right? You might have also tried out, if you guys earlier, we would always prefer to go with Google search. So we would go to Google and search for any queries that we have. But Microsoft Bing has also integrated with ChatGPT, and it's very easy. So when you go to Microsoft, you have to open Edge, go to Microsoft, log in with your email ID. And once you say that what type of responses do you need, it is also asking you that do you want more creative response, do you want a balanced response, or do you want a precise, straightforward answer? So you are able to tweak the type of responses you are getting to your question. So if I ask what if I would be on more precise, what is Python, it would only give me answers as per the standard Wikipedia or the dictionary meaning. But if I say get more creative, it will tell me in a more creative tone that what is Python as a programming language. So I'm just giving you a very simple question, but you can get as creative as possible if you're on the creative content side, and you can be as precise as possible if you are looking at something which is a straightforward answer. So you have the flexibility as an end user also to change the tone of responses that you get. So I think you should try out right now to go to Microsoft Edge and get this Bing integrated. So it's more precise. So when you go on the Microsoft page, you have an option on the top itself which says chat. We had images, videos, and maps earlier, but there is a new option which has come out as chat, and it says ask me anything. You can even talk to it, upload a photograph, and it will start conversing with you. It's a very good part that instead of going for a search where you get links of 10 different websites and you're getting into each of those links to try to get answers to your question, this will direct you more towards your answer. It is, as it comes from generative AI, it's not a copy paste from one place. It generates the text before giving you the response. So it's a very beautiful tool. I think you should all try it out. And let me give you a demo. So let's get started on seeing the demo. what can ChatGPT do for us? Right? So when you open up chat.openai.com, you have an option on the screen. Your screen might sometimes look different. So it depends upon your version. So I have written the question, can you write a code for bubble sort algorithm? And it immediately started writing the code in Python. You can see that it has written the code, and it also says the function from where I can call this, what numbers I'm giving, and what will the output look like. So what becomes, it is very easy for me to understand what function does what, right? So let us write another question. Can you please help me to write an essay on Russia's invasion over Ukraine? A very political question, but let's try what it has to say. So an ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine began in 2014 when Russian troops annexed into the, it is trying to give you a response which is very balanced, right? It's not telling that, okay, they are right, these are, so it's only giving you a fact-based information, because I said keep a default tone and don't want it to be very exciting or controversial to me, right? So let's go with our next question. So I can write a code, I can write an essay. Now I'm saying, can you, okay, help me make a delivery app website which has login details and password. So I want to create a delivery app with the help of ChatGPT. See, it immediately started writing that, okay, what are the steps? So step number 1, choose a programming language and a web development framework. So are you planning to do it using Node.js, Django, JavaScript, PHP, and so on? Set up a database for user login information. You will need to design an interface, implement the login system. So it is giving me a structure of what needs to be done. So now let's get further. Can you write a code for food delivery app? Right? So last time I just asked what should I do. Now I'm telling, write me a code to create a food delivery app. So it has started writing the code in Python. So it's a standard menu. It has created a function called as place order. And if I had to do this prior to November 2022, I would go to Google, type that, I would try to find some similar answers and then tweak that code to work it out for me. And at the end, it also gives me a point that this code defines the menu with food items and prices, allows the user to place an order. Yeah, so, and it is also, so it gives you a description, like just like the way somebody would have come and told. So now I'm saying add cart option as well to the above program. It started adding that piece also. And because you might not copy the whole program, it is starting from the beginning. That, okay, in this whole code, so you don't have to worry that, okay, where will I place the remaining part of the code? It starts from the beginning and then it will help you. Suppose if you need only that piece, you will have to specify it over there. So, and it says the updated version of place order function now adds item to the cart, and it displays the content of the cart in the auto process. Now I'm saying, help me write a dummy data in SQL database. So I'm saying, okay, create a student studying database and create with some dummy data so that it can write it in an SQL code. So I don't even have to know that how to write a create table statement, how to write an insert statement. Let's assume that I'm just new into SQL. It will do it for me. So let's see. Help me write a dummy data code for SQL students to marks. It says create table students. It has created ID, name, gender, age. It has selected appropriate data type, and it also said ID will be the primary key. It created a table called as marks. It is inserting some records into student. It is inserting some records into marks. for the respective ID. So the code creates two tables, students and marks, and this code merges them, or the student ID is a common field between both of them, right? Now you can modify this code to add more students. It's giving me a very good instruction that, okay, what does insert into do? How can I modify this to get my details into it? Write a job description. So somebody is in from HR, I can also say something like this. Write a job description for a sales executive role. So it says the job title. It also ensures that the format and template are taken care of, right? So location, job type is full-time, salary, insert the salary range. And it is telling what are the responsibilities, what are the requirements. So even if you would have forgotten some point, it would give you an answer to it. So with that, we come to the end of the demo. Any questions? You're not able to use the app in Hong Kong. It's really great potential for the business growth. Yes, some of the countries have put a firewall, but I think slowly it might change. So not in my control. It's a great potential for the business growth. Yes. Rachna, it's a huge problem statement to ask chatbot, isn't it? So yes, this is where your skills come into play. That how shall I ask the questions correctly to the ChatGPT? Because if I just log on to the ChatGPT page, it will not do anything for me. I need to ask questions and it is ready with the answers. So you have to learn the skill of asking the right questions so that you get the right answer or the relevant answer. So wonderful. Any questions on ChatGPT, its use, and so on. So if we want to start anything from scratch, then it is more helpful. If you want to start anything from scratch, also it is helpful. And if you already have a code, but you are stuck, then also it will help you fix your problem. So it's not always that you have to start from a scratch. It will help you. If you already give a background to it, it will help you out. How far would this be to replace human efforts at the workplace? All the monotonous, I would say the mundane task, you can just give it to ChatGPT and it will do it for you. Instead of going and searching for an answer, you can just ask ChatGPT to search the answer and give it to you. Your efforts can be on developing creative parts for your organization. Many students have using to complete their assignments. I heard there are another programs that can help you identify the case studies submitted. Yes, you have AI content detector. So Ajay, you are right. The plagiarism part is being taken care of by ChatGPT, but at the end, it's an AI generated text. So other apps, so that's where the potential or the opportunity lies, right? Now, if the students are going to use ChatGPT for submitting their assignment, you can put that content into a detecting tool and it will say, is it a human generated text or is it an AI generated text? So that's a new role opportunity. How to get the skills asking the right question? Yes, that's the art, and that's where you will get more details from Neha, who's over here. So, can ChatGPT do analysis on ML for me? Yes, it can do for that. Can it create Excel sheets? Yes, it can create Excel sheets. It can send multiple emails to different email IDs. And all these coding, you do not have to use. You just have to use your brain in finding out the right question to be asked. So yes, all those things are possible. You can have ChatGPT to do all your, I would say, all your monotonous tasks, like writing emails, writing 10 emails, checking if somebody did your job. Means suppose if we had a meeting and 5 of us had some responsibilities, did we complete it or not? ChatGPT can track and send out an email to only that person who has not completed the task. So wonderful. Mayank. Yes, ChatGPT can even work on coding part. So Visual Studio and all is also will get covered as part of GPT. So you think about a task and I will tell you whether ChatGPT can help you solve it or not. So open to you. Can it interpret an email client? Yes. You might receive an email and you just suppose somebody has sent you an email of 2 pages, very long. He's very upset and happy, and you don't have time. So you want to understand what was the two main problems that the customer had. ChatGPT can do it for you. It can summarize things for you. And it's very good at that. I have even worked with 100 pages of the PDF and it would come and help me build that for me. Yes, it can also create slides for us. Physically, it will not create. It's a generative AI text based, but it will tell you that what should happen. Yes, sentiment analysis is also possible using ChatGPT. Wonderful. Any other questions? So when you are writing your email, if you increase the creative part of it, and obviously that's where your presence is more important, right? Because if you submit a task, if ChatGPT was supposed to give you an answer, it gave the answer, but who is responsible to ensure that the work gets done? So it's we at our role who will be working on it. Image document in Hindi can be converted into English PDF? Yes, it is possible. It has a very good OCR facility also. So from Hindi to English, from Sanskrit also you can try it out, from Spanish, German. Okay. Is it at least connected with the internet? Yes, ChatGPT 4. Yes, it is connected with internet. There is one more part of the OpenAI, which I have not just covered over here, but then ChatGPT means OpenAI has one more app called as DALL-E 2, which can create images based on the text that you give. It has amazing products that it is working on, and it is going to be a very good assistant to all of us. So personally, I treat it as a very good partner when I'm working because it gives me a lot of flexibility and it gives me a lot of creative part. So I know how to ask the questions and it will keep giving answers to me. I keep enhancing it and it keeps enhancing with me. When is it going to be available to everybody? That I don't have an idea. So at this point of time, the free version is ChatGPT 3.5, which is also pretty good. So I guess you can go ahead and try the free version first, log on to OpenAI ChatGPT and get started playing with it. But as I told you, if you just open ChatGPT, it will just be waiting for your question. It's like that genie who says, your wish is my command. So you have to ask the question. So your question is my answer. So you have to ask the question and then only it will be able to give the answers to you. How to create a clone ChatGPT? Yes, that possibility is also there. That's where, as I told you, right? Companies like Salesforce, Air India, we saw even Khan Academy, Be My Eyes, all these companies have created a clone. So they have, when we said integrating it with their app, they would not be using the raw version of it. They might be fine tuning it to meet their own requirement. So somebody is using it for their business intelligence. Somebody is using it for the customer relationship management, for content writing. So all of them will not have the same thing. They are fine tuning it to be more helpful, right? So it's up to you how you can leverage it and be ahead of the others. So I use it. It's great. Just I wish it was connected to the internet. I don't know how to use Bing. You can just go to Microsoft Edge, and by default, Microsoft Edge uses Bing. So when you were asking that whether it's connected to the internet, your question was when I search for something. Yes, it is available as a search option. Let me just help you with that. But you will need a Bing account. Means you will need a Microsoft account to do that. You can go with the free version. Yes, it's becoming part of everyone's life now. The more awareness we have, the more we can utilize it further.
ChatGPT is not working. Many users are complaining that ChatGPT is not working for them, and this is quite understandable. ChatGPT is a new service provided by OpenAI, and OpenAI needs some time to improve their product and make it available for all of its users. But some of these problems can be fixed, and this video is going to teach you how to fix them. Now, the first problem that we are going to see is ChatGPT is at capacity right now. This is a common issue that many people face, and if you are getting this error, know that there is nothing that can be done from your side. This error means that a lot of people are using ChatGPT at the moment and the servers are full. If you are facing this issue, all you can do is wait for some time and then refresh your browser, hoping that someone has finished using ChatGPT and that you can access it yourself. Now, if you're facing some other kind of issue, then I will show you 4 solutions in this video that might just help you access ChatGPT yourself. The first solution is to clear your cache and data. To do this, first you can head over to openai.com, and then if you see the top bar, you can see 3 dots at the top right corner. Click on that and navigate to Settings. Once you're inside Settings, you can go to Privacy and Security, and inside that menu, you can find an option called Cookies and Other Site Data. Click on that and scroll down a bit. Once you scroll down, you can see an option called See All Site Data and Permissions. Click on that. And once you're inside that, go ahead to the search bar and type OpenAI. While typing OpenAI, you can see an option called as OpenAI being shown below. You should delete all the data inside this. And once it is deleted, go back to OpenAI and refresh the page. This solution is especially useful for first-time users who haven't really used ChatGPT before. The second solution that I'm going to show you today is disabling all your extensions. To do this, check the top bar for the add-ons icon. If you click on that, you will be able to see a list of extensions that are active right now. And at the very end of that menu, you can see the option called as Manage Extensions. Start by clicking on that, and once it is done, Chrome will open up a new tab for you. This tab will have a list of all your extensions. Go ahead and disable all the extensions over here right now. Once you are done disabling your extensions, go back to the OpenAI tab and click on Refresh. This solution is effective if your extensions were the ones that were causing the problem. Third solution is installing a VPN. This solution is effective if the problem is caused by your internet service provider or your location. Installing a VPN is very simple. Just open a new tab and then type Chrome Web Store. Once that is done, click on the first link in your search results. It will bring you to a website like this. Now once you type VPN and click on Enter, Chrome Web Store will give you a list of VPN extensions that you can install in your browser. Let me show you how you can do this by installing TouchVPN over here. Now click on TouchVPN, and once the page loads, you can see a button called Add to Chrome. Click on that and then click on Add Extension. This will install TouchVPN as an extension in your browser. To use the VPN, just click on the Add-ons button and then search for TouchVPN. Click on TouchVPN and then click on Connect. Once you do that, the VPN will connect and you might just be able to use ChatGPT right now. Now, if all these solutions don't really work out for you, then I think it's best that you install a new browser. And that is our fourth solution. You can find a lot of good alternatives to your browser these days. Some examples of this is the Firefox browser, the Opera browser, and also the new Brave browser. I personally suggest Brave because it has a lot of security features and it comes with a built-in VPN. This means that you don't really need to install the VPN yourself. So that is it for the 4 solutions in this video, and I hope that your issue is solved. The first ChatGPT application that we will be seeing is writing code. Yes, ChatGPT does an excellent job at generating code. If you know about ChatGPT, you must have heard how it helps in coding. We have a separate video called ChatGPT for developers if you're a programmer, but this video will mainly deal with coding for non-programmers. So if you're a non-programmer and you want to develop some application or you just want to learn some programming, then ChatGPT can be extremely useful for you. This is because ChatGPT can generate code and also it can provide explanations for that code. As an example, let me ask ChatGPT how looping works in Python. Now this is a pretty basic question and you can see that ChatGPT instantly gives you an answer. It gives you explanations, it will give you code, and also it will give you different kinds of looping structures. This is extremely useful if you are just writing a tutorial or you are trying to learn it yourself. Now this is a pretty simple example. Let's try something harder. Let me type write a Node.js backend code for a marketing company. And ChatGPT instantly gets to it. You can see that ChatGPT is writing the backend code for your entire marketing company. And this is pretty damn cool. ChatGPT is writing comments, separating tasks, connecting to databases, setting up GET requests, POST requests, and much more. If you do need specific tasks to be coded, then you can always mention that in the prompt. Now, a second ChatGPT application is also an extension of this. You can use ChatGPT for code debugging. Traditionally, if you ran into some errors while coding and you were stuck over there, you would go to sites like Stack Overflow, post your question over there, and wait for someone's reply. Now, if someone replies very early, then that's good for you, but sometimes it might take days or even weeks for you to get an answer. ChatGPT can eliminate that problem. You see, using ChatGPT, you can post the code with the error in it, and you can ask ChatGPT to solve it for you. And if ChatGPT knows the solution, it can solve that for you in a matter of minutes. What I'm going to do to show the debugging features is just copy paste some Stack Overflow code into my prompt bar over here. And you can see that I have started with the error message and the code is given separately. Once you pass it to ChatGPT, ChatGPT will instantly figure out what the error was and it will explain that error to you. After that, it can provide you the corrected code which you can directly copy paste into your editor. ChatGPT will also provide the explanation of how the corrected code works. All in all, this is a great way to increase your productivity while coding. The next thing that we are going to see is content writing. ChatGPT is great with content creation like copywriting, blog writing, generating blog ideas, and much more. As an example, let me ask ChatGPT the following. Can you generate 10 ideas for a blog on ChatGPT? And ChatGPT will start generating ideas which you can write a blog on. Now that we have the blog ideas, let's ask ChatGPT to write the blog outline for the third option. And ChatGPT has given us sections that includes introduction, background of ChatGPT and GPT-3, and much more. And inside that, it has also given sub-partitions of what the topics can be. This is a great way to start writing your blog. ChatGPT can instantly provide a blog outline for you. But this is not the limits of it. We can also start writing the content itself. For example, if I want to ChatGPT to explain one particular section, then I could just write a prompt for it. Like over here, I have asked ChatGPT to write a paragraph about the history of ChatGPT in 100 words. The generated content can be directly copy pasted, and for the most part, as I have observed, this is plagiarism free. The only kind of plagiarism that you might find over here is AI plagiarism, and that can be removed using tools like WriteSonnet. Now the next ChatGPT application that we have is search engine optimization, or SEO. Search engine optimization is the process used to optimize a website's technical configuration, content relevance, and link popularity so that the pages itself can become more findable. Now, SEO itself has a lot of different processes associated with it, like keyword research, content creation, content optimization, etc. And over here, let us explore how you can use ChatGPT for SEO purposes. The first prompt that I am going to give ChatGPT is to provide recommendations for improving the title and meta description of a blog post about digital marketing. And ChatGPT is providing us with a response that is sectioned into title and meta description. Inside these sections, ChatGPT has given us a few pointers that can help us improve the title and the meta description. ChatGPT has also taken some extra measures over here and has given us examples of title and meta descriptions on different digital marketing blog topics. This is how you can use ChatGPT to increase the visibility of your content. Now let's move on to the next ChatGPT application, which is language translation. Yes, the arduous task of language translation has just become easier. And this is no different than Googling for a translation. To use this feature, all you need to do is type translate this into this language. For example, I can type translate the phrase have a nice day to French. And you can see that ChatGPT has instantly given you a translation. The phrase have a nice day can be translated to French as bonne journée. In a similar manner, you can use ChatGPT to translate your content into any major language like English, French, Spanish, German, Italian, etc. The next ChatGPT application is writing legal documents. Many times you will find yourself trying to draft a legal document for a given task. ChatGPT can help you draft a template for this process. And as an example of this, let me ask ChatGPT to frame a video release form. Now once we submit this prompt, ChatGPT instantly generates a video release form. Not only this, it also provides spaces which you can edit, like your name, who you're selling this video to, etc. While this form is great in itself, let us be a bit more specific about what we need. Let's try to customize this response according to the local laws. Since I'm from India, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to customize this form according to the Indian laws. Now I'll just speed up the output generated over here. And if you see the last part over here, you can see that ChatGPT has edited this response according to the laws of India and has also included the Indian Arbitration and Conciliation Act of 1996. Now, I don't know what Indian Arbitration and Conciliation Act is, but I'm pretty sure ChatGPT has got my back. Now, the next ChatGPT application that we have over here is something that will attract a lot of college students. And that is ChatGPT can help you with your college assignments. Now, before you close this video and use ChatGPT for your homework, remember that the content from ChatGPT can be checked for AI plagiarism. So I personally suggest that you use ChatGPT to get a template and then write your own content. And the last ChatGPT application that we have is a super casual one. You can use ChatGPT to make custom workout plans for yourself. For example, I have typed over here, can you create a workout plan for me that can help me lose weight? And ChatGPT has started framing a workout schedule for me. It has suggested some warm-up exercises, cardiovascular exercises, resistance training, and then even cool downs. If you know how to do these exercises and you can follow through them, then ChatGPT is a really great replacement for an expensive gym trainer. And with that, we have come to the end of this video on ChatGPT applications. How to use OpenAI API using Python. This is something I was going through recently and I found it so interesting that I wanted to share it with you. Now, most of y'all must have heard of ChatGPT, the super trending AI text generator that generates responses based on user prompts. This technology was developed by a company called as OpenAI, and along with ChatGPT, they released a few APIs that are super convenient to use in your code. You can find these models if you search for openai.com/API/pricing. Once you're in this page, if you scroll down a bit, you will be able to see a section called as language models. Now this section has a collection of base models that you can directly use in your code. There are currently 4 options available, which is Ada, Babbage, Curie, and DaVinci. Now each of these models has slightly better capabilities than the previous one, and depending on these capabilities, prices can also differ. Now the Ada model, which is the least capable out of these 4, has the fastest response time, and DaVinci is the most capable while being the slowest out of all these options. Now coming to the pricing, you can see that the prices are mentioned per 1000 tokens. So what is tokens? You can think of tokens as words, and like it is mentioned over here, 1000 tokens is approximately 750 words. You will be charged based on how many tokens you use in your program. If you want to look at the differences, then there is a separate page for that too. Over here, you can see the details, capabilities, and restrictions of each of these models. All these models are developed on the GPT-3 models, and the 𝐷aVinci model, which is the most capable, has a max request limit of 4000 tokens, and the training data was taken up to June of 2021. The Curie model is slightly less capable than the 𝐷aVinci model, but it is faster and costs way less than 𝐷aVinci. It has a max limit of 2048 tokens, and you can also see that it was trained only until October of 2019. The Babbage model is another option which is capable of straightforward tasks and is very fast while giving your answers at a fraction of the cost. And the Ada model is super fast while being restricted to very simple tasks. Now, just because the capabilities differ doesn't really mean that the Ada is worse than 𝐷aVinci. It all depends on your use case. If your use case is very simple and straightforward, you would be better off using Ada or Babbage. And if you have some complex mathematical tasks, then you can use a text generator like 𝐷aVinci. While using these models in code, you will also have to insert some parameters. Based on this parameter, the prices can also heavily differ. To use the OpenAI APIs, you will first need to head over to openai.com. Once you are in here, you will find an option called as API on the top. Click on that and then log into your account. If you don't have an account yet, then I highly recommend that you make one. Now once you log into OpenAI, you will find yourself in a web page similar to this. What you need to do right now is head over to your account and then click on View API Keys. Once you're here, click on this button that says Create New Secret Key. Once this key has been generated, make sure that you copy this key. Let's just name this key as OpenAI.API key. Now before we execute this code, we will need to install a library called as OpenAI. So let's just do that by using the pip command. As you can see, I have already installed OpenAI in my system, but if you haven't already, then this command will install OpenAI library in your system. Once that is done, you can get rid of that cell and import the OpenAI library into your code. Now let's run this. Yes, your key needs to be passed as a string. Now let's run it again, and you can see that it has executed successfully. Now let's define a simple prompt. We'll say variable prompt is equal to, and then a message. Let me just type, "Hi, how are you today?" Now this will be our prompt. Now that we have access to OpenAI and we have defined our prompt, the only thing left is to generate a response. Now to generate the response, let's start by typing variable response equal to OpenAI.completion.create. Now this is the function that you use to generate responses. Inside the create method, we will start defining our parameters. The first parameter that we are going to define is the type of engine that we will use. So you can just type engine equal to, and then you can specify the model that you will use. If you want the details of the models, you will find it over here. These are the models that you can use in your code. Let's first start with the Ada model. The next parameter that you will need to specify is your prompt. This parameter will be passed to your model to generate a response. Since tokens are expensive, it's best practice to set a max limit to your tokens. You can do this by typing the max tokens parameter and setting a value for it. Let me just set it to 50. And one more interesting parameter is the number of responses that you want to generate. So we can set it as n equal to 1. This will tell the model to generate only one response. Another interesting parameter is the temperature parameter. This parameter will tell the model how flexible it can be with the response. This value can be anywhere between 0 and 1. A temperature of 1 will make the generated response quite formal, while a value of 0.1 will keep the response extremely creative. Keep in mind that lesser temperatures can also make your responses factually incorrect. And when I say 1, it will show 1. When I say 0, it will show 0. And then 0.1. For now, let's keep the temperature value at 0.5. With this, we have generated the response. To view this response, you will just need to write one more line of code. This can be done by using the print function and then typing response.choices. Now, choices is a list of generated response. Since we have set n as 1, we'll be getting only one output. So our response's choice index is 0. We also need to see the text format of the response. So we type .text at the end. Once we execute this code, you can see that our model has generated a response. You can also change the model or the number of responses if you don't find the answer satisfactory. And now you can see that our response is more friendly. So guys, this is how we use OpenAI API in Python. I will speak about how you can use OpenAI's ChatGPT for SEO applications. I will give you 5 ChatGPT SEO use cases, and based on that, you can start using this tool. So to start this video, the first thing I need to tell you is how you can use ChatGPT professionally. Stop prompting random words to it. I know it is quite intelligent and it understands you, but most of y'all need to get better at prompting ChatGPT. If you log into ChatGPT, you will see an interface similar to this. You have a chat box at the bottom and a send button at the right. If you want to ask it something, you will need to type the question and click send, after which ChatGPT will generate an answer. This is all good, but remember, ChatGPT is not a person. ChatGPT is based on generative AI. This means that behind this website is still an algorithm that works on zeros and ones. So if you are a pro user like me, you can use even this simple interface to get a lot of customization options. Now in this video, I will share one such strategy which you can use to make yourself a better user. Just remember to put 3 points in the first message. Now what exactly are those 3 points? Number 1, define your problem. You see, ChatGPT was trained on a lot of data. It has read through research papers, novels, Twitter feeds, news articles, poems, etc. Now if you ask it to generate some content, which one of these should it refer to? Should ChatGPT refer to blogs, news articles, novels, movies? You should specify what exactly your problem is and help ChatGPT understand it. The second point is define your contribution. What will you provide ChatGPT? Whatever task you provide ChatGPT, you will also need to provide some input. What is this input going to be? Is it a file name, URL, stories, videos? What exactly are you going to provide ChatGPT? This is something that you should mention. Number 3 is defining your expectation. What exactly are your expectations from ChatGPT? What do you want ChatGPT to do, and what should the result be? Do you want it to write code, create content, provide advice? What will the result be? Now I will show you how this works through my examples. That way you can understand it more clearly. Okay? As I mentioned before, this video will give you 5 examples or use cases of ChatGPT in SEO. Number 1 is keyword research. Number 2 is keyword intent. Number 3 is keyword clustering. The first 3 points are based on keyword analytics, which is usually done through paid apps. But with ChatGPT, you can get it done easily for free. Following this is number 4, which is meta title or description. And lastly, number 5 is schema data, which is kind of a technical process with a lot of options, but with ChatGPT, you'll be able to do it easily. So with these 5 use cases, we can optimize the delivery of your content and not get punished by Google for posting good content. It will make our results much more unique and interesting, and they won't be generic or boring. So let's start with the first use case, which is keyword research. So to start with the first use case, which is keyword research, let me open ChatGPT interface and then I'll give my prompt in the 3 steps that we discussed. I'll start by writing, act as a keyword research tool. This tells ChatGPT that it needs to start behaving like a keyword research tool. So the first point in our requirement is conveyed over here. The second line is, I will give you a seed keyword. This is my contribution. I will provide ChatGPT with the main or seed keyword. The third line is, you will provide me with the following. With this sentence, I can ask ChatGPT to perform multiple actions based on multiple instructions. The first instruction that I'm going to give it is to generate a list of 10 long-tailed keywords based on this keyword. The second instruction is to generate a list of 10 keywords based on the keywords generated during step 1 with the geographical modifier near the city. The list of cities are given below: Austin, Chicago, and San Francisco. So over here, I'm giving clear instructions on how I want ChatGPT to behave and what results I expect. Once I send this prompt, you can see over here that ChatGPT has given me the confirmation. So now I'm going to proceed and enter the seed keyword, which is data analyst. Now that the seed keyword is provided, the first thing I get is a list of 10 long-tailed keywords. You can see that the list contains data analyst job description, data analyst skills, data analyst salary, data analyst interview questions, data analyst certifications, etc. And the second part contains the list of keywords with the geographical modifier near this city. So now our keywords are customized to locations. You have data analyst jobs near Austin, data analyst salary in Austin, data analyst training courses in Chicago, data analyst career path in San Francisco, etc. ChatGPT is a really good tool for keyword research and to also customize keywords. You don't need any paid software, Excel sheets, formulas, etc. ChatGPT can do this directly for you. Now let's head to the second part, which is keyword intent. We have already seen how keyword research can be conducted, but what if instead of directly generating keywords, you want to classify them into multiple categories based on intent, like commercial intent, informational intent, etc. This is where keyword intent comes into the picture. This process can be done using other tools, but most of them are paid. You don't really have a good free tool that you can use. So I'm using ChatGPT for this process, and the query of intent research can be done as follows. Act as a keyword research tool. I have set the role right now, and after this I'll say, I will provide a list of keywords. If there is a keyword that is not related to data analyst or data scientist, please remove them. So this is a practical example where we are filtering out unwanted keywords from our list, and these keywords are the keywords that we don't want to use. After this, we have another instruction. You will categorize them based on these 3 following categories based on their intent. First is commercial, second is navigational, and then informational. This will categorize your keywords into their respective groups based on the intent of the keyword. Commercial keywords will be categorized as commercial, navigational keywords will be put into navigational, and so on. ChatGPT is again confirming that it is ready for the task, and now I am inserting a list of keywords. This list is very simple. I have copy-pasted some keywords from Google, and I'm trying to categorize these keywords right now. As soon as I paste the input and click on enter, you can see that ChatGPT has already started classifying the keywords based on the categories I provided. So first we get the commercial keywords like Google Data Analytics Certification, Metabo Analyst, Coursera Data Analyst, Coursera Google Data Analytics, Indeed Data Analyst, blah blah blah. And the second one is navigational keywords like Data Analyst, Certified Data Analyst, Business Intelligence Analyst, etc. And the last one is informational, like Data Analytics is Data Analyst Excel, Data Analyst Projects, etc. Up until now, we have seen how to generate keywords, keyword intent, cleaning or filtering out the data, etc. Now let's see how we can perform keyword clustering. Keyword clustering is an important concept using which we can improve our pages, the quality of the pages, optimizations, etc. You can see people using it when they want to target many small keywords through a single post or when making silo pages. So the prompt we're going to use for keyword clustering is going to look something like this. The first line is act as a keyword clustering tool. Next, I will provide a list of keywords. You will need to analyze them and cluster them in relevant groups. So now if I give ChatGPT a list of keywords, it will classify them based on which group they will fit into. Once we click enter and ChatGPT gives me the confirmation, I will paste the list of keywords. This is again the same list of keywords that I used in the previous example. Now let's see how ChatGPT will categorize them. First up, the category given is Data Analyst Certification, and in this we have keywords like Certified Data Analyst, Google Data Analytics Certification, Google Data Analyst, etc. Next we can see Data Analyst Skills, where we have Data Analyst Excel, Statistics for Data Analytics, Python for Data Analytics, etc. We have Business Intelligence and Analytics like Business Intelligence Analyst, Big Data Analyst, Healthcare Data Analyst, etc. And the list continues on. ChatGPT is a language-based model that was trained on a lot of data. So ChatGPT understands what you are writing, and this is what makes this tool so powerful. So the next use case that we are going to see is meta title or description. For this, I will use the same type of prompts that I used before. So the first line is act as a SEO content writer, and then I will provide articles on several subjects. You have to provide 4 to 7 words long meta titles for them. And ChatGPT has told you that it has understood your query, it has understood your prompt, and it is ready to accept articles. So I copy pasted some random article from Google over here. And once I click on enter, again you can see that ChatGPT has given you a meta title saying St. Omer opens Kottayam International Film Festival. This is exactly 7 words long and it has followed all the rules that we had set. This is exactly the output that was needed, and if I want to generate a meta title for another article, I can still continue just pasting articles and it will keep generating meta titles. So now let's see how we can do the same thing for meta description. The prompt is pretty much the same as before, where I have said act as an SEO content writer and I will provide articles on several subjects. The last line changes, which is the result that we expect. You have to provide 2 to 3 sentences long meta description for them. And ChatGPT again confirms that it has understood our query and it knows what we are trying to get from it. So now I will paste the same article that I pasted before, and you can see that ChatGPT has given a meta description for it. This meta description again is 3 sentences long and it has followed the regulations that we set. If you want a shorter meta description, you need to mention it again in the query. This is all I have to say about meta description, and now let's move on to the last use case that we are going to discuss, which is schema data. You have many different types of schema data that you can generate, but one of the more technical and time-consuming types of schema data is product schema. This is something I'll show how you can do over here. Product schema has a lot of options and a lot of technical details that usually ends up being a bit techy. You get a lot of plugins that you can use which can automate this process for you, and this can be put in sites like WordPress. But if for some reason you don't use WordPress or you have your own website, then you can use ChatGPT to generate this schema. The prompt for this is again put in 3 lines, and the first line is act as a JSON LD expert coder. Over here I've set the role as someone who can understand the JSON LD language. After that, I have told ChatGPT what I will be providing it. I will give you product pages. Now, what do I expect from ChatGPT? You have to give me product type schema data code in JSON LD format, which is accepted by Google. This means that the result that we get will be in JSON LD format and can be directly compiled. And you can see over here that ChatGPT has understood our prompt and is waiting for us to provide the URL of the web pages. Now I need to provide it a URL. So I have taken a URL from Amazon and it is the URL of a refrigerator. For that reason, I have typed this is a refrigerator and then I have pasted the URL. And now you can see that ChatGPT has provided me the JSON LD schema data code for my refrigerator. You can see that it has included a lot of details, and if you had to do it manually by hand, it would take a lot of time. This is how you can use ChatGPT for generating schema data.
Now, everyone wants to know about this ChatGPT right now. But the question is, how can you get started with this ChatGPT? That's the key thing that everyone has. Well, let's do one thing. Let's set the agenda with the help of ChatGPT itself. I've got the ChatGPT with me. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's ask the ChatGPT itself as, how do I get started with ChatGPT? So I'll say, how can I learn ChatGPT? So I'm giving the input in an English language, and the ChatGPT is responding me in an interactive manner. It says, as a language model, ChatGPT is designed to be able to understand and respond to the wide range of questions and the statements in natural language. What is natural language? It's the language that we humans speak. And it says, here are some tips as how you can interact with ChatGPT. You can ask question, you can experiment with various phrasing, you can use the natural language, provide the context, and as well as evaluation of these responses. Like I've got an option to regenerate the response. So here you can regenerate the response and get to know about the same. See, the way that you can learn this ChatGPT, as you can clearly see, it says familiarize yourself with your capabilities, read the ChatGPT's response carefully, experiment with various inputs, provide the feedback, and practice having the conversation with ChatGPT. That's the best way to learn the ChatGPT. Now coming back to our session's agenda. So what exactly is this ChatGPT and why is it so relevant for us in the current world? Now, ChatGPT was launched by a company called OpenAI. So OpenAI is the company who launched this ChatGPT. So here in this ChatGPT, so what we can observe right now is that, so this was launched by OpenAI on the period of December 1, okay? And this is a chat interface to a large language model, which has been trained to act as an assistant, answer the question, as well as perform a wide range of tasks. Now here, after you create an account with OpenAI, so you can access this chat GPT model for free. It's a language model. And we have seen some of the greater things and most of the users have actually shown the capability of this chat GPT within the 5 days of launch itself. If I want to give you the statistics, so within just 5 days of launch of this chat GPT, so more than 1 million users, have been testing this and they have been sharing the results. So let's look into the details of this model and some of the interesting results that we can expect. So let's start with the motivation. What is the motivation of launching this chat GPT? We'll just start from there. So this chat GPT model that has been launched. So this is not the first model that has been launched by this OpenAI. They have actually launched multiple models, language models, which is used in the NLP world for greater amount of time. Now, the previous model, which they had actually released, it was about the GPT-3. Okay, the GPT-3 was the model that was launched earlier than this ChatGPT. So here, if you look into this site of this announcement post that has been made by this OpenAI team, the GPT-3 model often missed the user's intent or the user's idea, what exactly is happening over there. And another thing is, so like they have clearly mentioned that they have trained the model called ChatGPT, which interacts in a conversational way. And the dialogue format makes it possible for ChatGPT to answer the follow-up question, admit its mistake, challenge the incorrect premises, and reject the inappropriate request. And it clearly says this ChatGPT is sibling model to InstructGPT. And they have given the link to the InstructGPT. So they have actually explained about the main challenge, and they have also given some examples as well. And they have actually explained how exactly this model has been trained. We'll come to that very shortly. So here it says ChatGPT is a fine-tuned from a model in this GPT 3.5 series, which finished training in the early 2022. And they have actually mentioned about the details, and they were actually trained on Azure AI supercomputing infrastructure. So that's the high level details about this ChatGPT. So one key thing that we can understand right now is this ChatGPT uses the GPT 3.5 as a base. And this has been trained through Instruct GPT. Now, here, if I go to this Instant GPT, so they have actually shown the research paper. So if we can click on this read paper, which takes us to the research paper, which describes about the Instant GPT, about the model where this chat GPT was actually based on. So here, if you look into the high level details, okay, training the language models to follow the instruction with the human feedback. So the idea is making the language model bigger, which does not inherently make them better at following the user's intent. For example, when we have a large language model, which can generate the output, it could be untruthful, toxic, or simply not helpful for the user. In other words, these models, that language model which we'll be training, they may not be aligned with their users. So in this research paper, so they have actually shown an avenue of aligning the language models with the user's intent on the wide range of tasks by performing the fine tuning with the help of human feedback, which means in order to build an effective chatbot, you cannot just depend on the technical stuff and resulting in the model which gives us the output which is not in line with the expectation. It clearly says that. So it's all about aligning with the user's intent and the user's requirement. And that's where they are saying that they have performed the activity of fine tuning with the help of human feedback. So what they have done is, with a set of labeler written prompts and the prompts that are submitted through OpenAI API, so they have actually collected the data set of labeler demonstration of the desired model behavior. Using that, they have actually performed their fine tuning on the GPT-3 using the supervised learning technique. Then they have collected the data set of rankings of model input, which they have used it to further fine tune it. Then they have used this supervised machine learning model. They have tuned it with the help of the reinforcement learning technique from the human feedback. So this resulting model is called as the Instruct GPT, which means that Chat GPT that we are talking about, as I mentioned, it's a close sibling of this Instruct GPT, and this Instruct GPT is trained on supervised learning. On top of this, the reinforcement learning, where we have done the fine tuning to get the amazing outcome. So this Instruct GPT model has 1.3 billion parameters, and they are preferred to the outputs from 175 billion GPT-3 model, despite having 100 times lesser parameters. So the idea is simple, team. So the GPT-3 model which they had, it had 175 billion parameters, which was very complex. Now they have tried to simplify it with this Instruct GPT, and this now has just 1.3 billion parameters only, which is 100 times lesser. Even though it's 100 times lesser, the parameters that we have got, it is still a preferred one. Now you might be wondering, okay, so how exactly this training has been done? Well, the training of this ChatGPT done is with the help of these 3 steps. Step 1, we will collect the demonstration data and train a supervised policy. So we will get a prompt that is sampled from the prompt data set, that is from our text data set that we have got. And then we'll have a labeler which demonstrate the desired output behavior, which is a very simple supervised learning task. And then this data is used to fine tune the GPT 3.5 with supervised learning. Then we will collect the comparison data, and then we are going to train a reward model. Okay, so we are going to train a reward model. So here, to create a reward model for reinforcement learning, we actually needed to collect the comparison data, which considered for 2 or more model responses, which are ranked by quality. And to collect this data, so they have actually taken the conversation from AI trainers, like they were actually taken from the AI trainers had with the chatbot. Then they have actually randomly selected a model. They have actually selected the model return message, sampled several alternative completion, which AI trainers would rank them. And at the end, the humans will compare the answers and choose what they like the best. And as a result of this, this is going to create a reward model, which is a smaller version of GPT, which takes in a prompt and multiple generated answers as input and predicts which answer a human will prefer. And this is built using an algorithm or a system that is called as the RLHF system. RLHF is the system, okay, that is being used. And the way this system looks like is, so here, RLHF system is also known as the reinforcement learning system. So what happens is, so it's a reinforcement learning algorithm. So we will have an RL algorithm and we'll have an environment. So when we talk about any reinforcement learning algorithm, we'll have an environment and then reinforcement learning algorithm. We'll have an observation. So the observation will be observed from the environment by the reinforcement learning algorithm. When it takes an action, it changes the state in the environment. And depending on the changes in the state in the environment, we will have a reward function. We call it as a reward predictor. We will have a reward function which is going to decide the overall reward. So here, when we are having the reward predictor, we also have a human in the loop. So we'll have something called as a human feedback. So with this human feedback, so we'll be predicting the reward. So this is the overall architecture from the technical side as how it actually works. So the reinforcement learning algorithm occasionally will ask a human observer to choose between the various generated outcome. The AI gradually builds a model of the goal of the human task by finding the reward function which best explains the human segment. So it then uses this reinforcement learning algorithm to achieve the goal. So that's the overall idea. And we have the human with the help of human feedback. So we will be generating the overall prediction. Okay, so that's the overall idea about this humans in the loop. All right. Then the third step is about the fine tuning the model with reinforcement learning. So the reward model that we have got, so it now acts as a human labeler. So we feed in the prompts to the GPT and we are going to receive an answer. And then we are going to ask the reward model to score the prompt and the answer pair. Now this score is then used as a feedback for the GPT, which is controlled by a reinforcement algorithm, which is called as PPO, which you see right now. The PPO model is used. PPO is nothing but proximal policy optimization. So this score is used as feedback and which is controlled by this reinforcement algorithm team. So that's the overall idea. Okay. So supervised learning technique, reinforcement learning with fine tuning with human feedback. That's the overall way in which that ChatGPT has been trained. I know this sounds completely technical, but this is just to give you an overall idea about how exactly this ChatGPT has been trained. But let me tell you, to interact with this chatbot, to get started with this chatbot, you don't have to know about all these things. So you can easily get started by creating your account with OpenAI, and you can get started by interacting with the chatbot. Now, let me show some of the interesting things which we can do it with the help of chatbot. Okay, so here, when we talk about this chatbot, so we have started already. So I can click on new chat to get started with the new chat. And here, this is the initial screen of this chatbot, that is the ChatGPT. So here it gives us some of the example about things that we can ask the ChatGPT. So examples can be explain quantum computing in simpler terms. Got any creative ideas for 10-year-olds per day? How do I make an HTTP request in JavaScript? So you can ask the ChatGPT anything. That's the overall examples that they're trying to tell us. And the capabilities of this ChatGPT would involve it remembers what user said earlier in the conversation, which means it has the ability to remember the human context. Okay. It allows the user to provide the follow-up corrections. It is trained to decline the inappropriate request. And there are some limitations of this chatbot right now. So some of the limitations would include it may occasionally generate incorrect information. It may occasionally produce harmful instruction or biased content. And it has got limited knowledge of the world and events after 2021. So these are some of the limitations that we have got with this chatbot. So here, overall idea I would say is, so this ChatGPT is capable of getting the inputs in the natural language. So generally, what happens in the machine learning or in any general senses, all the machine learning model or the deep learning models, as a data scientist, we have to process the data and convert the non-number data, non-numerical data into a numerical data to before we process it with the help of machine learning models. That means it expects the data in a structured format. Now, this ChatGPT is a model which is capable of analyzing what is happening on the natural language itself. For example, I'm going to write it like this. What is the capital of India? So if I mention the capital, if I request this question as what is the capital of India? So the chat GPT is able to provide the response in an English language saying that the capital of India is New Delhi. And that's the best part. And here, if you think about the capabilities of the human being. So when I say, suppose if I've got a sentence that says that the dog is very tired. It is crossing the road. It is crossing the road. Suppose if I have a sentence like this, and if I ask you, what is the word it is referring to? As a human being, it's very easy for us to connect that, okay, this word it is actually referring to the word dog. It is very easier for us. It comes as a second nature. But we had challenges in establishing this context that is able to models to remember the context. So till now, we've been using the various kinds of neural network architecture. We've been using the RNN neural network, LSTM neural network, GRU neural network, and then we have actually seen some of the greater movement in the NLP world, like the concept of attention mechanism, pre-trained models, and with the help of attention and pre-trained models, there came the transformer architecture. And from this transformer architecture, so including the transformer and the attention mechanism, including the pre-trained, so we got this chat GPT and the overall language models that you see right now. Okay, so these chat GPT now has the ability to remember the context. And we have not got any official confirmation from the OpenAI yet, but as per the various results, as per the various tests that have been conducted by various users, so ChatGPT has the capability to remember the context over 16 medium-sized paragraph. Okay, so that's one of the key thing that we observe with this ChatGPT. And here you can ask the ChatGPT about anything. I mean, like here when we talk about this ChatGPT, you can also ask the questions related to the technical as well. So for example, I can say that I want you to act as Linux terminal, and I will type the command. You will respond with results that show. So we can, so it says, so sure, I can act as a Linux terminal. Please go ahead and type your command. I'll respond with the appropriate result. So to give you an example, I'll say ls-a. So this is the Linux command. So it says ls-a command lists all the files that are present in the current working directory. See what it like here, like I mentioned to this ChatGPT that act as a Linux terminal. And I have mentioned that I will type the command and you should respond me with the results that show as if I'm actually executing that command. So I've mentioned as ls-a, and it says that it is going to list all the files and directories in the current working directory, including the hidden files. And this is the example. And that's the same thing that you would observe in your Linux terminal as well. So for example, if I say ls-a, see, I'm able to view the output in my terminal. Just like we will see the output in the terminal, we are observing the similar code right now. Okay, and if I say pwd, that's my present working directory. So pwd stands for the present working directory, and it is displaying what is my present working directory from the bash. And if I execute the same in my terminal, see, I'm getting the similar output as if I'm executing in my terminal. And along with the help, it is displaying for me. Okay, suppose if I say cat, okay, the cat is the command, and I'll say file.txt. So it explains, okay, cat command is used to display the contents of the file on the terminal. So it gives us the complete information. And not just this is just one example that I'm showing to you. And let's say that I want to generate the code for deep learning. I'll say build me an image classifier model with TensorFlow. So I'm asking the model ChatGPT to build an image classifier model with TensorFlow. And it says, so what is the steps that I have to follow? Okay, I'll have to prepare the data and define my model architecture, compile the model, train the model, and it is also asking me to evaluate the model and finally generate the predictions. So these are the general steps to build a image classification model with TensorFlow. Now I'll give one more command that says as show me the code for a convolutional neural network. Convolutional neural network is a type of network that we use it to perform the activity of image classification. Now I'm asking it to create me a code to build a simple convolutional neural network for image classification using TensorFlow and Keras. And you can clearly observe it is writing the code for me. See, it has written the complete code for my convolutional neural network architecture. I now have to just copy this code and specify where exactly my training data set is, validation data set is, and mention the number of epochs. And I can just include it in my code and I can just start working as well. Okay, it's not just that. So you can, like, I'm just giving you an example. So let's say, what is the database? What is the command to delete the table from MySQL database? So we can ask anything. So it says to delete a table from the MySQL database, you can use drop table command, and it also tells us the exact command. So you can clearly observe that how the ChatGPT is able to do. Okay, and you can also say that, let me just give you an example. What is the distance between Mysore to Bangalore? So that's the input that I'll give right now. Okay, so it says Mysore to Bangalore is 145 kilometers or 90 miles by road, and I'll say what is the best hotel for travel. So I'm asking as what is the best hotel to have lunch. So it says, yeah, it does not have the real-time information. So the best, so it says, like, as it clearly says, it still does not have the entire capability, but yeah, it says, I suggest using the online platforms or local food guides to research and find the best options. based on your specific needs and preference. Okay, and it also says recommends to ask locals or friends who are familiar with that area. So as you can clearly see, ChatGPT is an advanced AI model which can be applied for wide range of domains and wide range of tasks. And that is the reason the ChatGPT course has been designed in such a way that you can get the most of this ChatGPT. And if you look into the overall content, see, if you look into the overall content of this ChatGPT, you will first understand about the technicalities about this ChatGPT, the applications of ChatGPT, and how you can get started with this OpenAI and how you can set up your environment. And you will also learn about the previous generation models where the ChatGPT is the latest model, but you'll also look into the previous generation models like GPT-2 and GPT-3 and explore the various use cases of ChatGPT. And this would include using the ChatGPT for live coding, as I've shown you in some of the examples, how you can build and optimize scale business using the ChatGPT. Advanced SEO for digital marketers, creating the social media post with ChatGPT, using the ChatGPT for language translation, YouTube scripts, code generation, code debugging with ChatGPT, content creation with ChatGPT, question answering, sentiment analysis. And not just that, you'll also learn about how you can develop the web application using the ChatGPT. So how you can build a web development architecture, building the backend, setting up the database, and setting up a React-based client-side application, how to write a API request to MongoDB with Express and React, how you can fetch and update the database with MongoDB, routing to React-based applications, debugging and client-side coding, how you can deploy and integrate the ChatGPT in business application, like how you can integrate the ChatGPT with Power Automate, how you can integrate ChatGPT with Power Apps, how you can integrate with Outlook, how you can integrate it with this various cloud platform. And not just that, you'll also learn about the previous generation models, like how to work with GPT models. And these are all the self-paced modules which you're getting as an additional bonus. So where you'll be learning about the language models, the idea about this language model, how it is actually trained, and you will look into the GPT models, its advantages, its architecture, disadvantages, and how you can prepare the data, how to train this ChatGPT, hyperparameter tuning, and how to work with this GPT-3, which is the previous version of ChatGPT, and how you can work with the playground and how to get the complete picture of working with the language model, how to build and deploy GPT-3 powered applications, how you can build a real world application with OpenAI and ChatGPT, and the best practices, limitations, and the avenues of future development. So you'll be learning everything in detail so that you get the complete picture by completing this overall learning journey of ChatGPT with this Edureka program. So let me just give you an overall idea about this transformer architecture. So I'll say, what is transformer NLP? So transformer NLP, it's a deep learning architecture. Okay, so this is one of the architecture which has changed the way in which that we started dealing with the text data. And if I ask the same thing to the ChatGPT and it is providing the answer for me, so it has been described in the research paper of Attention is All You Need. It's a neural network architecture which has been used successfully in the NLP tasks like language translation, text summarization, and the question answering. So the architecture of this transformer is based on the mechanism called self-attention. So this is going to allow the model to weigh the importance of various words in my given sentence whenever it is performing the processing. And as a result of this, this will allow the model to capture some of the complex and the nuanced relationship between the words in a sentence compared to the traditional NLP models. So that's the core idea behind this transformer technique. So this model consists of encoder and a decoder, both of which uses the self-attention mechanism to process the input data. So the encoder takes in the input text and produces the hidden representation of the text, and which will be used by the decoder to generate the output text. The major advantage of this transformer architecture is that it can process the input text in parallel, and it will allow you for faster training and the inference time compared to the traditional NLP models that we have, which process the data in a sequential manner. So when we say the models, traditional models, it would include the RNN or LSTM. Compared to that, so NLP, the transformer architecture is much faster because the training will happen in parallel. And as a result of this, this has resulted in significant improvement in the NLP performance, and it has made it one of the most widely used deep learning architecture for the NLP task. Now, if you look into the GPT-3 model, so I'll say, what is GPT-3 model? So what is OpenAI GPT-3 model? So here, OpenAI GPT-3 model. What is GPT? GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. It's a state-of-the-art language processing model which is developed by OpenAI, and it's one of the largest and the most powerful language models that is currently available, and this has got 175 billion parameters, as we have seen at the start of the session. It's a neural network based language model. Here, this has been pre-trained on a massive corpus of diverse text data, and this is capable of performing the wide range of NLP tasks, including language translation, question answering, text completion, summarization, and more. One of the major features of this GPT-3 is its ability to perform zero-shot learning, which means here it can generate the text in response to a prompt without any specific training on the task. And this has generated significant interest and attention from researchers. So because of its capabilities, and that's the overall idea about this GPT-3 model, which is also a language model. And then we have, I think we have also looked into another term called Instruct GPT. So you can also ask the same, what is Instruct GPT? So it says, yeah. Okay, so it says that, if you remember, it has mentioned that this chat GPT is mentioned from the cutoff date, and it looks like the Instruct GPT is the one that has been published later. It has been published in the year of 4th March 2022, and hence the chat GPT model is not able to answer. It says Instruct GPT is a new project from OpenAI that has not been efficiently released yet because its knowledge cutoff date is September 2021. Okay, is a new NLP model from OpenAI that aims to generate the instructional text based on the NLP inputs. So this will be trained on a more structured data set, which includes instructional text with annotated steps and outcome. That's the overall idea, team. All right. I hope you now have got a clear idea about the capabilities of ChatGPT and the best part about this ChatGPT and the various applications of ChatGPT.
Have you heard of Google Bard yet? Google Bard is Google's answer to OpenAI's ChatGPT, which has been one of the most trending topics on the internet. We at Edureka were fascinated by this new announcement and looked deeper into the potential of Google Bard and the technology behind it. So, Google Bard didn't really start out as Google Bard, but as Google Lambda 2. And Lambda 2 was interesting but limited in capabilities. People were still excited about the new idea and were looking forward to the future of Lambda 2. A few months later, OpenAI released a full suite of different products that blew people's minds. ChatGPT from OpenAI in particular was extremely good among this and served as a direct competitor to Google's Lambda 2. The platform gained millions of users in just a few hours after its release, and big companies like Microsoft integrated their apps with this technology. For example, Microsoft's new Edge browser, along with Bing, can support chat-based searches. This feature by itself can rival Google AI and is definitely something to be considered in the AI arms race. Now, Google Bard is still in development and will definitely take some time to release. They recently launched their beta test for trusted users. This essentially means that the software is going through private testing, and meanwhile, for the competition, they have released a solution called NORA. NORA stands for No Right Answer. This is for the problems where you don't really have a single plausible answer, and the answer can have multiple choices of right options. This focuses on improving user experiences while empowering creativity, contribution, and the challenge of developing an open web. This software is a game changer for search experiences, and as an example, let me tell you that it provides a feature wherein you can combine multiple images to form a single 3D image. And that is pretty damn cool. They have also introduced features that can give you product recommendations, pairing suggestions, and much more. This really is a full utilization of what generative AI is capable of. To be honest, Google does have an excellent product, and the quality of the outcome would just depend on how well they develop it. But the problem is that they are currently lagging behind Microsoft and will need to fasten their pace to catch up with their competitors. Google still has one of the largest user bases, and I think this will definitely impact how the product will perform. Only time will tell what Google has in hand for us, but as of right now, the most concerning factor is the lack of innovation for user experience. If Google Bard happens to be just another variant of their workspace products, we'll probably see a shift in the user base into other products. For now, let's just be hopeful of what Google has in store for us.
You all have heard about war? Let me tell you about the AI war happening right now in the video. The progress in AI has stunned everyone as the possibilities are endless and the sky is the limit. We are already starting to see plenty of progress in areas, mainly language processing models like ChatGPT and Google Bard. You must be thinking, what are language processing models? These models allow you to speak and get text-based answers for your questions. With all the chaos in the tech field right now, this has ignited the spark between the tech developers to be the best among the competitors of AI. All I can say is the biggest AI rivalry has now started. And what if I will tell you that it is between Microsoft and Google? You will be amazed to know that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella confirms $10 billion investment into ChatGPT as it got huge success. On the other hand, Google CEO Sundar Pichai was quite frustrated as he has asked his employees to focus on the AI tool, which showed inaccurate data at the launching event of Google Bard. Now let me tell you something about these two chatbots. First, let's start with ChatGPT. It is an AI language model that is taking the world by storm. Do you know what is the full form of ChatGPT? It is Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer. I know, it seems a bit difficult to say, right? And what about Google Bard? It is an experimental conversational AI service powered by Lambda, which stands for Language Model for Dialogue Applications. Google Bard and ChatGPT are two of the most prominent chatbots available in 2023. But which is better? As both offer natural language responses to natural language inputs, using machine learning and millions of data to craft useful and informative responses for the users. As the hype got real, soon after the launch of ChatGPT, many tech personalities like Narayan Murthy, Bill Gates, as well as the Gmail founder appreciated the chatbot, ChatGPT, due to its extraordinary features. To know more details about ChatGPT, let's dig into the topic first. To start with it, we will try to know what is ChatGPT. ChatGPT was launched on November 30, 2022, and its valuation was estimated at $29 billion in 2023. ChatGPT is a large language model chatbot developed by OpenAI based on GPT 3.5. Due to high demand of the users, we often get to see this that ChatGPT is at max capacity. You don't need to worry about it, as it happens when a lot of engagement is going on the server. And if you are a GPT Plus subscriber, then maybe you can get the access more easily. Now the question is how it really works. Basically, it generates text-based answers and help us to code. From finding the error to actually improving it. Within few seconds, ChatGPT has been doing wonders. After seeing this, the growth of ChatGPT among the users, Google had started panicking, as they wanted a more advanced rival chatbot from their side to compete with ChatGPT. They recently launched their own chatbot, Google Bard, in a press conference which came out as a huge failure, resulting in shares of Google's parent company to lose more than $100 billion in market value. As we are already discussing about Google's Bard, now let's move on to the next topic of our video. What is Google Bard? I am going to answer this question as we move ahead in this video. Google Bard is similar to OpenAI's ChatGPT, as it is latest experimental AI service that can respond to various queries and requests in a conversational manner. At the heart of Google Bard, it is an experimental technology Lambda, which is a transformer, a neural network architecture. Soon after the two tech giants launched their products, everybody started thinking which one is better. To get the answer without any delay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is ChatGPT versus Google Bard. Let's start with the ChatGPT. It is an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by OpenAI, built on OpenAI's GPT-3 family of large language models. Google Bard developed by Google, and it is a convolutional neural language model. Secondly, you need to know that ChatGPT is based on GPT 3.5 and has a remarkable ability to interact in conversational dialogue form, and it can provide responses that can appear surprisingly human. On the other hand, Google Bard is an experimental conversational AI service powered by Google Lambda. You will be surprised to know that Google Bard will inform users by finding the latest, high-quality answers, and it means that Google's latest AI tool can give users information about the current scenario. While on the other hand, ChatGPT is not connected to the internet, and it can occasionally produce incorrect answers, as it has limited knowledge of world till 2021, and may also occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased contents. As we come to the new levels of AI chatbots, given the many ways AI is tested, people want to test how sophisticated such chatbots are. Whether ChatGPT or Google Bard are plagiarism-free is a question on lot of lips. ChatGPT supports plagiarism checker, but OpenAI has also clearly stated that tool isn't fully reliable yet and should not be used as a primary way to identify copied text. On the other hand, Google Bard is not that developed to have an AI text classifier. After all the factors, the most important point of the discussion is whether ChatGPT or Google Bard free for the users. Till date, ChatGPT has allowed research content previews for free, but also has a subscription model to get more enhanced results. As I have told previously that Bard is still under beta phase, so it's completely free for now. Both the AI chatbots have their own capabilities and limitations. But what exactly matters is how beneficial they are going to be for us in future. Take it as education sector or research sector or advanced language models. But for me now, ChatGPT is in lead. But soon after Google Bard comes with personalized search option, it's gonna be a hell of a ride for the tech users. On that note, we have come to the end of this video. Do share your views on which chatbot is better suited to you in the comment box. Until then, happy learning.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!